You stopped a stranger from taking $9,000 from your mother. By that evening, you had printed forms that would give you access to her account. She pushed them back across the table. "They almost took my money," she said. "You don't get to take my life." At 11:42 that morning, a gray sedan slowed at the end of your mother's driveway. Your mother was already standing behind the front door with a manila envelope pressed against her chest. A man stepped out of the car and started walking toward her. You pulled in behind him, left your car running, and opened the door. "Mom, who is that?" She did not answer him. She looked at you. "Keep your voice down," she said. "Noah's in trouble." You stepped between the man and the front door and raised your phone toward the sedan's license plate. He stopped. Then he turned, walked back to the car, and drove away. Your mother held the envelope tighter. "He caused an accident," she said. "They need $9,000 before the court closes." "Who told you that?" "Noah. You called your son using the number already saved in your phone. He answered on the third ring." "Mom?" There was machinery behind him. "I'm at work. What happened?" Your mother's face changed before you said anything. Then she whispered, "But I heard him." The money was still in her hand. Nothing had been taken. But by that evening, fear had already begun taking something else. You had never managed your mother's money. She renewed her own insurance, challenged charges she did not recognize, and kept tax records in folders labeled by year. When the kitchen faucet leaked, she called 3 plumbers before choosing one. When her prescription changed, she asked the pharmacist to explain it twice. She was not careless. That was what frightened you. If someone this careful could reach the front door with $9,000, every ordinary safeguard suddenly felt too weak. You did not only want to prevent the next scam, you wanted to remove the possibility that there could be one. And in that moment, control felt almost identical to protection. You sat across from your mother at the kitchen table. The envelope lay between 2 untouched cups of coffee. Before coming back that evening, you had printed forms that would give you access to the account. You placed them beside the envelope. "I need to be added to the account," you said. "We should turn on alerts. We need to block unknown numbers. And I'm taking the checkbook tonight." Your mother looked at the forms, then at you. "They almost took $9,000. "They almost did," she said. "Then why are we arguing about this?" "We're not arguing about alerts." She pushed the papers back. "We're arguing about who gets to decide them." You could still see the man walking toward the door. Your mother could still hear a voice saying, "Grandma, please don't tell Mom." The call had started just after 10. She was rinsing a breakfast plate when the phone rang. The caller sounded breathless. He used Noah's name. He called her Grandma. He said he had looked down for 1 second while driving and hit another car. Someone was hurt. Then his voice cracked. "Please don't call Mom yet." That sentence mattered more than the legal details that followed. Your mother had always been the person Noah called when he needed time before telling you something. A poor grade, a broken phone, a mistake he wanted help explaining. The call did not only imitate his voice, it imitated his place in her life. Then another man came on the line and said he was Noah's lawyer. There was a deadline. There was a cash requirement. There was a courier. He told her not to hang up and not to speak to anyone. At the bank, a teller asked what the money was for. The man had prepared her answer. "Work on the house," she said. The word sounded wrong in her own mouth. For 1 second, she looked toward the exit. Then the voice in her ear said, "Grandma, please." The doubt did not disappear. It simply never received enough time to become a decision. At 11:16, your mother sent one message. "I can't have lunch." Something happened to Noah. You called twice. She did not answer, so you drove over. "If I had been 5 minutes later?" "I know," she said. "No, Mom, I don't think you do." She looked at the envelope. "I know exactly how close it was." "Then why won't you let me fix this?" She stood, carried both coffee cups to the sink, and returned with her phone. She opened your contact. The call button was still there. "I tried to call you," she said. "You didn't." "I opened your name." "What stopped you?" "He kept talking." She sat down. "He said there wasn't time to think." Then she touched the account forms with one finger. "Now you're telling me there isn't time to decide." For the first time, you heard the fear in your own voice. You were not trying to take her life over, but you had arrived with forms, passwords, and rules before asking what kind of protection she was willing to live with. Family emergency scams work by cutting off verification. A familiar voice creates panic. Another caller adds authority. Secrecy and urgency keep the target from contacting anyone else. The safest first move is simple. Hang up, then call the relative through a number you already know, or reach another family member through a trusted channel. You looked at your mother's phone. What if next time I'm not here? Then help me build something I can use when you're not. You glanced at the forms again. Full access. Online credentials. Permission to view every transaction. You had printed a solution before asking what problem she was willing to solve. For the first time, the forms looked less like protection than a decision already made. You moved your hand away from them. Your mother waited. "I need a plan," your mother said. She slid the forms toward you. "I don't need a new owner." You pointed toward the phone. "So you'll keep answering numbers you don't know?" "My doctor calls from numbers I don't know," she said. "So does the pharmacy. So did the plumber last month." "Then how am I supposed to know when something is wrong?" "You're not," she said. "Not before I do." That answer frightened you because it left risk in the room. But there was no system that could remove every risk without also removing every decision. Your mother was not asking to return to the way things had been that morning. She was asking for protection she could still operate on an ordinary Tuesday when you were at work and no one was standing in her kitchen. You folded the pages once, then again. You put them back in your bag. The two of you built something smaller. Any call asking for money, secrecy, or immediate action would end. Your mother would call Noah using the number already saved in her phone. If he did not answer, she would call you or Noah's father. The family chose a private verification question. Then your mother chose an amount she wanted the bank to flag. The two of you called the bank together. The representative confirmed that her account offered a withdrawal alert. If a cash withdrawal crossed the threshold she chose, you would receive a notification. It would not block the withdrawal, give you access to the account, or make the decision for her. Your mother chose both the threshold and the recipient herself. The alert would begin a conversation. It would not replace her decision. Your mother wrote 3 lines on a small card. Hang up. Call back. Call one more person. She placed it beside the phone. That evening, Noah came after work. He stood in the kitchen wearing the same grease-marked jacket you had seen through the video call. Your mother looked at him for several seconds. "Did it really sound like me?" he asked. "Enough that I stopped asking questions." Noah lowered his eyes. "I'm sorry." "For what?" "For whatever they found. My videos, my voicemail." "I don't know." Your mother shook her head. "You didn't call me." Then she pointed toward the card. "Next time, I'll ask you somewhere they can't answer for you." No one blamed him for having a voice in the world. No one asked your mother to stop answering her phone. And no one pretended one question could make every future call safe. They built layers, a pause, a callback, a second person, an alert she had chosen. 3 days later, you returned with 1 page, not the full access form, only the bank alert agreement. Your mother read every line. She circled the amount herself. Then she signed. "You keep the account," you said. "You can keep the alert. Only the alert. Only the alert." The envelope was no longer on the table. She had returned the money to the bank that morning. A week later, Noah's name appeared on her phone during dinner. She answered. "Grandma, I need—" "I'll call you back," she said. She ended the call, opened Noah's saved contact, and pressed his name. He answered. "Grandma?" She asked the private question. He gave the answer. Then she sat down, moved her plate closer, and continued the conversation. The first voice had sounded like Noah. That was no longer enough. This time, she had chosen the number. This time, safety had not required anyone to take the phone from her hand. She still answered for herself.